আপনার সিদ্ধান্ত ঠিক নয়। কেন?
হে দেব হে দ্বৈত হে ভুবনৈক বন্ধু হে কৃষ্ণ হে চপল হে করুণৈক সিন্ধু।
Jay Sri Radheshyam and welcome. Ajanjana Timirandasya Jananjana Salagaya Chaksuru Militanjana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayine Sarvamagala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidyayine. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitanjena Bhutale Swajan Rupa Kadamadhyam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Jay Sri Gauranga Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Sri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Radharaman Charan Das Dev ki Jay, Sri Charitsuda ki Jay. The Life of Love, biography of Sri Srimad Radharaman Charan Das Dev, the veritable embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's universal religion of love, by Dr. o.b.l. Kapoor. Talks on Sri Gauranga. Chapter 9. A recluse came in with matted hair on his head and entered into lively conversation with Bhargavaji. By your leave, your reverence, said the newcomer, may I ask you to which sect you belong? Sect? What sect, my brother, while God is one, and all belong to Him, and Him alone? Yes, sir, that is true, but then there are so many different creeds in religion, and men follow the one or the other. This is what I mean. Sri Gauranga's universal religion of love. Well, the different creeds are only so many different modes of grasping the same eternal truth. The difference cease to exist when the devotee come face to face with the truth. They represent the different schools of thought in our attempt to conceive the divine idea. Lines of thoughts which can be and should be united and reconciled into a harmonious whole, which makes up the entire fabric of the perfect religion of the world. But there are these sects, and I would like to know the sect to which you belong, asked the sadhu. I take objection to the term sect, which implies inclusion and some of the exclusion of others. For religion, it is really an undivided whole, which admits of all these different conceptions at the different stage of spiritual evolution. But then there is one thing. Some have climbed the initial steps, some up to the middle, while there have been some who have gone up to the top of the ladder of evolution. Those who are at the top can see the different sets of religious aspirants clinging to the ladder at the various stages of spiritual development, and they can harmonize the apparent conflicts and conditions and proclaim truth from the pinnacle of God realization. So there are these gurus at the different stage of God realization who have taught their disciples according to their power of comprehension, and they have started the lines of spiritual descendants which in after times have come to be grouped as the different sects of religion on earth. There is no sect in the religion of God, who is one. There were no such sects and schisms in the teachings of the great masters, the Loka gurus. They have come out of the imperfect understanding of the latter disciples of the great masters. Thank you very much. I am so glad that I have found one who is above the limitations of narrow sectarisms. Now, I can breathe freely, and I think I can take the liberty of inquire about the perfect religion of the world. No more of sects and schisms, but let me know, if you please, the standpoint you will take to understand the perfect religion of the world, is asking the Sadhu to Sri Radharaman Charan Das Dev. Then, my standpoint is that of Sri Chaitanya or Sri Gauranga, who gave us his religion of love and beauty, which is the perfect religion of all the world. Then you belong to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, don't you? Here is a note. It reads, Gaudiya Vaishnava, this is the name given to the followers of Sri Chaitanya because his religion emanates from Gauda or Bengal. Yes. Gaudiya Vaishnava is not coming from Gauda, as Gauranga Mahaprabhu names, we know, but it's coming from the Gauda area or Bengal, because it's the philosophy that came out from Bengal from the lotus hand of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Interesting also that this line reads the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Yes and not is the answer of Bhargava. Yes and no at the same time. Yes, because I have accepted the principles of the Gaudiya Vaishnava, but no, because I do not think that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas should form a clique and mar the universal character of the religion of Sri Gauranga. As a reference, here we have the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Sadhya Sadan Tattva, embodied in the conversation between Sri Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy, the incarnation of Sri Gauranga. But who is Sri Gauranga? Sri Gauranga is the incarnation of the Supreme, the High God, who incarnated himself as Sri Krishna in the earlier age. Was he not born? Of course he was. He was born as a Vedic Brahmin in the city of Navadvip. Jagannath Mishra was his father and Sachi Devi was his mother. That is to say, he accepted them as his parents when he came down into the world. Excuse me, please. I am going to put some questions which I hope you will kindly answer. Go on, I do not mind. We're followers of Nityananda. We cannot take offenses. Jai Ho Bhargava. Jai Bhadevava. Jai Bhadevava. It is possible that God should be born like the natural sons of men and women. God, you must remember, is omnipotent. He can and he actually does incarnate himself for the good of the world. He works for the destruction of evil and the construction of the edifice of righteousness in the world. Righteous. Thus, he has come down from time to time from his divine purpose as Sri Ramachandra, Sri Krishna and Sri Gauranga for the regeneration of the world. Proof of the divinity of Sri Gauranga. Just a small parenthesis, if you are enjoying this divine conversation reading here, I will kindly invite you to subscribe, to give a like to this video, and of course to share on your social media, on your Facebook, WhatsApp group, etc. It will help me so much in growing this channel and to spread the word of the super souls, the super masters who have been on this earth. We are reading now this Charit-sudha, Life of Love, and we are continuing to read more Shastra and Grantha that is related to Gaudiya Vaishnavism in its original form, as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu taught to his disciples all this philosophy and was described and is described in the Granthas by the Goswamis of Vrindavan and all the eternal Nityasiddhas associated of Sri Gauranga and the Nityasiddhas of the Nitya Lila Vrindavan. So please give me a hand back and help me by sharing this video. Thanks. Proofs for the divinity of Sri Gauranga. But how can you prove that Sri Gauranga is the Lord himself? No proof like ocular proof, they say. They saw him and knew him to be the Lord himself. Those who had the eyes, the spiritual eyes, to see him aright. Nityananda saw him and knew him, and so did the other devotees who were spiritually advanced in those days. They do see him and know him to be the Lord even now. They who can discern the high spirit with the spirit's eyes. But what is ocular proof to one that is blind? How can you prove it to the blind that the sun is up? Yes, to those who have eyes, when the sun rises, there needs no ghost to come and tell them that the sun is up. So it is with the Lord. They can see who have developed their spirituality and rendered themselves fit for God vision. But the blind cannot see. The amount of reasoning will convince the blind man of the existence and effulgence of the sun. He must wait till a doctor comes and restore his eyesight. And then he can see the sun like those that talked to him about the sun when he could not see. That's it. Come. Will it do? Venerable Sir, you might be right when you say so from your own point of view, but one may think that you are just evading the question. The blind must be convinced of the possibility, if not the actual existence of the sun, before he can be persuaded to go to a doctor to open his eyesight for a first-hand knowledge of the sun. Yes, but that is second-hand knowledge, you see, and you must remember that this can only persuade you to undertake the task. It will never carry conviction before you have actually realized the truth for yourself. However, I will try. The Shastras all declare that God comes down as Sri Gauranga in the Kali Yuga. These Shastras are handed down to us from time immemorial, and they contain the revealed utterances of the riches, the seers of truth. These riches are past masters of spiritual wisdom, and their unerring vision is unimpeded by the limitations of space and time. They saw it beforehand and record their prevision long before Sri Gauranga actually came down into the world. I will not trouble you with numerous quotations in support of the incarnation of Sri Gauranga, but simply refer you to the scriptures, where they are to be found, so that you can verify it to your satisfaction, if you are inclined to do so. Thus, you find in the Vedas, the Chandogya, and more clearly in the Chaitanya Upanishad, in the Samhitas, the Ordam Naya, and more fully in the Ananta Samhitas, the Puranas, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vayu Purana, the Saura Purana, the Brahma Purana, the Padma Purana, the Garuda Puranam, the Shiva Puranam, the Nisingha Puranam, and also in the Tantras, the Vishvasara, the Kapila, the Kularnava, the Sadhanolas, the Krishna Yamala, the Brahma Yamala, and all the rest. Parenthesis. One thing that many may not know is that Sri Radharaman Charan Das Dev was a scholar on Shastra. Even though he never used Shastra as a weapon to convey or to do his preaching mission, but he used the weapon as Sri Gauranga shows, because Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was not convincing or transforming the world through the Shastra and knowledge. It was in his first stage as Nimai Pandit, but after, when Sri Gauranga took over properly, he was not speaking out loud Shastra and wisdom, Jnana, knowledge. It was about Harinam and divine love. This is the ultimate truth. So we can see here in this line that he is speaking with a sadhu and he's quoting so many Shastras where must be studied in order to understand the tattva of Sri Gauranga, but this was not the normal traditional style of Sri Bhargavava, and it should be adopted for us. I think I have already given you a fairly long list just to let you see that those who were in the know knew it already even before the manifestation of Sri Gauranga as the Lord in our midst. And let me tell you that the testimony of these Shastras is stronger than the testimony of the senses, for the latter is liable to change and open to errors, while the former, the Shastra, is indubitable, true, and its predictions are sure to be fulfilled. The riches of all did not infer, but directly perceive the truths, and they are infallible. They predicted that God will come down as Sri Gauranga, and their descriptions were fulfilled in the manifestation that came after, beside men like Prakashananda Sarasvati. Then the spiritual guide of the sannyasis of Benares, the seat of spiritual wisdom, and Vasudev Sarvabhauma, the gigantic leader and court pandit of Puri, the order center of Vedantic lore, colossal spiritualism, and the greatest seventh of the day, came to worship Sri Gauranga as the great Lord. They recorded their experience in their writings. These facts put together go to show that Sri Gauranga is the Lord himself. As you may safely take it on trust and set to work and verify the truth for yourself by actual realization. What a charming personality is Sri Gauranga. How beautiful, how dignified, how sweet, how graceful, how towering, how captivating. Oh, when and where shall we find his like again? He is alone, and Sri Gauranga is our Lord, the Lord of the worlds. May he bless you and send you a ray of his spiritual light. And so you bless me before I ask you for it. I am so much in need of it. I am a wretched wanderer in quest of truth, and I have met with disappointment wherever I turned. But I have found it at last. You have filled me with hope of spiritual blessedness. So let me call you my spiritual leader, and let me, venerable sir, let me sit at your feet and take lessons in the perfect religion of the world. Give me your grace, sir, will you? With this, he fell at the feet of Bhargavavaji, and Bhargavavaji clasped him to his heart and said softly, "Welcome, brother. Peace to you. We are fortunate that we are born in the Kali Yuga, when Sri Gauranga comes down to save us all. Set your heart at rest, and I say, Nityananda is so merciful. You have only to come to him, and when you come, you are saved. Your sins and stains shall be washed away. You should have peace and blessedness and love divine, the one cherished goal of human existence on earth." Jay Sri Radharaman Charan Das Dev ki Jai, Jai 𝐰𝐸𝐭𝐡 ki Jai, Supreme Love, Divine Love ki Jai. The recluse was overpowered with emotion. When this divine mercy was showered on him, he tried to speak but could not. He burst in tears. He wept for joy. He sighed to think of the past spent idly away. He winced and wailed for what he had done. He knew not how to thank God for the mercy he had shown him. Night wore, but he would not sleep, anxiously waiting for the morning on which he was to turn over a new leaf of existence. Morning came, he started out of his bed and shaved his head and took his bath. He consigned himself to 𝐰𝐸𝐵𝐵, Jai Ho, who initiated him and put him on the way to spiritual blessedness. Jai Ho. This sadhu was Krishna Nanda Das, the same who accompanied Baba Premananda Bharati on his way to America for fulfilling his evangelical mission in far-off land. Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai Ho, 𝐰𝐸𝐵𝐵 ki Jai. What a beautiful line and story. And here, an extremely important topic that many may not know. The first Indian guru, or the first guru, Vaishnav, Gaudiya Vaishnav, who went to America, to the United States, and preached and did disciples and wrote books in America was Bharata Babaji. And Bharata Babaji was sent actually by Sri Radharaman Charan Das Dev to America. This was Radharaman's desire that Bharati Baba will go to America to preach and to teach the Krishna philosophy, the Sri Gauranga philosophy to the Western world. So this was the desire of Radharaman. Indeed, Radharaman was thinking in one moment to do it himself, to go to Americas. What will happen there if it's a Siddha Mahapurush with the power of Nityananda in himself will step on United States of America? All this world will be totally different, because we're speaking about a Mahapurush, no a Siddha Mahatma or just a Siddha or just a highly developed devotee. We're speaking about Siddha Mahapurusha. The story will be very different, but we cannot break the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga also is an order of Bhagavan, and it must go on. So 𝐻𝐸𝐵𝐵 initiate this sadhu from this conversation under the name as Krishna Nanda Das, and Krishna Nanda Das went to America with Baba Premananda Bharati Baba. Bharati Baba did more than 500 disciples and wrote several books on Krishna philosophy from the Sri Gauranga perspective. He pavimented all the Krishna movement for Western devotees far before the mission of Bhaktivedanta Swami. So we have that 𝐻𝐸𝐵𝐵 actually is the original savior of the Western devotees, the Western world, and also for the Indian Bharat-born devotees, since he re-established the original philosophy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and the real keys to achieve perfection, Siddha, in this very life. Now there were the historic footprints of Sri Chaitanya on a slab of marble near Garuda Stamba. The Garuda Stamba inside the temple of Jagannath, footprints marked on stone, converted into the consistency of clay by the magical tears that stream down the cheeks and chest of Sri Gauranga, entrance at the side of Lord Jagannath. These sacred relics used to be trampled down by inadvertent strangers that came in crowd on the special occasion to have a look at Sri Jagannath. These footprints were removed under orders of the Raj and in the presence of his officers to a spot in the adjoining yard within the temple. 𝐻𝐸𝐵𝐵 Mahasai had them tabernacled and duly installed on a lotus of white marble. Another parenthesis, very important. This Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu footprint are saved actually because of Bhargava. He noticed, nobody know any guru, nobody saw them. Bhargava saw them. He knew these footprints. Also the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur, also the Bajan Kutir of Haridas Thakur in Puridam, who were in danger, that they were almost going to be sold to the biggest buyer. Rich people, just they were being sold, and Bhargava took them. So in Puridam, in Navadvip, took all these places and make the immense effort to save them for the future generation. So to call you and me, that we can see, we can give our reverences there in these places. We can absorb the divine energy of the sadhus, of the biggest luminaries of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. All this was done by Bhargava, but very little people knows about this. That's why we must to read, we must to study and support my seva. So everyone who can understand English, that is half of the planet basically, can know this incredible truth and to do justice to the immense Vaishnav that Bhargava is. Jay Sri Radharaman Charan Das Dev. At this time, a boy whose name was Shital Das came and joined the party of Bhargava. He was entrusted with the seva of, or the service of these footprints. Gaura Sharan Chakravarti was also at this time initiated by Bhargava into the life of renunciation and taking of Beck, as it is called, and came to be known as Govinda Das, Jai Govinda Das. Thus they came one by one and filled the ranks as Bhargava set out on his excursions against the impurity and sin of the Kali Yuga. Sri Bhargava Maharaj Ki Jai. In the next chapter, the ceremony is connected with Lord Jagannath. Sri Bhargava Ki Jai, Sharit Sudha Ki Jai, Life of Love Ki Jai. Thanks to everyone who was involved in the writing and translation of this book. Actually, Dr. o.b.l. Kapoor for Life of Love and Sri Brajgopal Das Agarwal, who I have the pleasure of met in Sri Vrindavan Dham, who also was helping in the translation of this holy book. I have no words to explain how much beauty and happiness my heart is experimenting through these lines, to truly understand and to see one Gaudiya Vaishnav who post Chaitanya era and be the embodiment of all the bliss as Sri Gauranga will love to see us all. Chant Hare Krishna in Japa, enjoy the worship of Sri Nitai Gauranga and Radheshyam. Bhaja Nitai Gaur, Radheshyam, Japo Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. See you in the next. Thanks for watching.